Leslie has, with the loss of so many local businesses, it's now become a dormitory town where it is mainly shopping. We've lost more than 50% of the industrial, and today Fethikill is only a shadow of itself, being the largest bag factory in Europe to now making medical wipe and Kleenex type tissue material. It is about one of the larger employers in Leslie, and almost everybody in Leslie now travels out with Leslie for their employment. Croft Outerley, middle row and front row, was not part of Leslie at that point in time. And the people from the Croft would cross the common. The Burgesses once again took them to court, and they had to pay basically a toll for the right to use the common. And so the footpath from the front row Croft, it goes across the common and up by what was once Herd's Garage, or to the back of the Station Hotel as a right of way. The Leslie Market would come to town, and it was all erected on the green side. We got round the various shows, throwing the ball in the pail, and often or not it bounced back out. You didn't get a coconut for that. There were shooting galleries. A lot of the local servicemen enjoyed, they had side competitions going on at the shooting galleries. I remember it was Irvin's used to take all the ground in the green, and they would allocate it out to the various showmen. Most of them were connected to the Cadona family. Irvin would bring his dodgems, his rockets, and over the years it changed. It was Dan Taylor was the last man to take the ground on the green, and he brought some slightly more modern equipment, the whip, the dodgems, Speedway. Back in 1953 for the coronation, you could almost count on your hand how many televisions there was in Leslie at that point in time. There wasn't much more than a dozen. We were fortunate to have one. And we had it actively used in the April when the shows were there. Unfortunately, the week of the shows, due to the electricity they used, you couldn't use your television. All you had was interference across the screen because of the sparks from the DC power on the shows. Also remember for the coronation, there was 35 people in our living room watching the coronation. The television had been perched up on top of a table so everybody could get we borrowed, with the minister coming, we actually borrowed seats from the church hall. The licensing laws didn't allow you to drink in your own town. You had to travel at least 3 miles. And we had plenty of that with people coming from Bow Hill and Carndale by bus. They would hire a bus and come to Leslie. They were out playing football on what was the cricket pitch. And we would go down later and collect all their bottles, because you got 4pence on a beer bottle as opposed to the 2pence on a lemonade bottle. Mobile shops seemed to be the way to go to keep your customer. Willie Scott was here in the east end of Leslie, where all the expansion in Leslie was at the west end. The scheme, as it was cried originally, from Anderson Drive, Rothers Park, Hazel Place, Lomond View, Westerlee. There was customers there that wouldn't walk up the length of Leslie to get items from Willis Scott. So like a lot of the businesses, they got themselves a mobile shop. They got an old bus, an old lorry, and he would take his stuff out and about, and he would go around the farmhouses as well. With the building of Glenrothes from the 50s and unlimited money virtually to the corporation, they could bring in various businesses into Glenrothes, set up shopping centres. We had the start of the supermarkets. In Leslie, we had the Co-op. I remember the Co-op being built in Anderson Drive, and it was one of the first of the self-service ones. They had a group of boxes at the door as you went in. If you came in with a message bag, which was quite common in these days, you had to put it in the box and take one of the shopping baskets. You cashed out, you went and got your bag and put your messages in it. The big change I see today, you go into a supermarket, you now not only serve yourself, but you make up your own bill. The speciality businesses seem to have come to Leslie. We're not short of hairdressers. We even had quite a few tattoo artists for a while. We had a local football team, the Leslie Hearts. They'd done quite well in previous years, and we gradually seen the town fill up the old sand quarry and a beautiful play park. It was an excellent venue for the Highland Games. And Highland Games have come and gone in Leslie. I think the last one was about 1960. In my younger day, I remember going to play a round of golf. As a youngster, I think it was fourpence or sixpence it cost us for the round of golf. I remember my first tee off. I heard the crack of the club hitting the ball, and I'm looking, and the ball had went a few yards, but the head of the club went further. The golf clubs, bowling greens, even the Masonic Club struggle for membership these days. I've been a member of a postcard club, and when I was 60, I was one of the youngsters at it. And we've started up a heritage group in Leslie, and hopefully we can encourage some youngsters to take part in it. Things like where we are today in the town hall. We have a dramatic club that's went from the early 1900s, and it's still managing to be to the fore today. I'd like the same for every club in Leslie. The original name of Leslie was Fifth Kill, and we're told that seemingly is the place of the wooden church. So, with a large hope and maybe a huge amount of luck, we can find a basis from where that church once stood. We have a plan to the dig. Unfortunately, it didn't happen this year due to circumstances beyond our control, but we have great plans for the end of June, July this year coming. We are going to be visited by a group of Americans from the Clan Leslie, and we are hoping to have the dig in process while they are here. Yes, there's a lot to be said for staying in a small village, but it works better when the community works together. And to facilitate that, it's up to everybody to try and facilitate it. If the council moves in an outsider, welcome them.